What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, Nestlemania alongside for the ride is a man who never suffers from little dick syndrome, JC.
I was hoping that's what you led with, Nestlemania, because I want all my LDSers to stand up in the chat. Let's go. Ready to go this week. Because, we're talking wrestling. So there's a lot of LDS going on, baby. But yeah, Nestlemania, we're going to get to that because Cody got to unleash on the mic like The Rock has been doing. And there's been a lot of fun matches this week. We're going to be talking some AEW because we're back on Tuesdays. Someone had a dream and they made it as we reacted to last week. But Nestlemania, shall we get started?
I believe the best place to start is in the Shine.
Always in the Shine, like Cody Rhodes, Mandy Rose. It rhymes. It must be true. I'm making that up right now, but we're talking Monday, and we're talking Cody Rhodes dropping the LDS and the bitch and all these things, telling everyone The Rock's mom is a lovely woman. And I don't know if you saw from the weekend, Nestlemania, but Cody with the little kid pulling him out of the crowd to do the whoa. It's just like, He really is the fucking greatest. He gave us a Homelander line on Monday. There's so many ways we can go with this promo. I overall enjoyed it. I'm curious your takes.
I really just didn't know what to think because they had Paul Heyman before saying, I've got a prediction, a spoiler. I'm going to go out there and say something, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, clearly Heyman's coming out and doing something, but they gave Cody a lot of time in this promo, which, rightfully so, top of the hour as usual. As I'm looking here, the little dick syndrome thing was so funny. And then the one thing that I thought was great was he didn't really have to swear, but he used active, tough things. You know what I mean? He didn't seem as passive. He seemed kind of.
He dropped an asshole. He dropped a bitch, I believe. So we've seen The Rock's been doing whatever the fuck he wanted. Yeah. And there was the stupid report that came out about people in the locker room being like, wait. It's like, fuck off. That's dumb. So they clearly were like, Cody, go drop a few for us here, get the internet all in a tizzy, and it worked.
So I think the other thing too that I thought was wonderful was that he pulled back the curtain saying if you notice in the description, he said he was a heel. Ric Flair's a heel. He said all these other people, you are just an asshole. And then he went into the idea of you're a crying bitch because you're backstage going, and I thought that was wonderful pulling back the curtain because again, what do we talk about on this program? Real controversies, uncomfortable feelings, create cash, create great moments. And that's when I'm like, okay, now I'm feeling like the slap was what I was waiting for, JC. But I think this week was really the fucking, give it.
Yeah, because I think that was the big hurdle we had to jump over. So now we can get into the business. And obviously the beauty of this is it's going to feel so fresh because yes, the Cody has been having the feud with The Rock, but on Friday we're getting the one-on-one with Roman Reigns, which that's the main event of WrestleMania, people. Don't you forget the rematch. So that's what's kind of cool about this is because a lot of the times I feel like when you do the same match for the second year in a row, the lead up can just be okay, yeah, there's the obvious stuff, but this year is just so different because The Rock being involved and with Seth as a side piece and all that shit going on. It feels like it's a lot more fun. And then obviously even you have the extraneous parts, you have Jay and Jimmy doing their thing, which is we saw Jay and Cody. Cody made the save for Jay on the show, and Jay offered. I mean, I'm sure Roman's gonna fucking be an asshole on Friday, and all the bloodline's gonna show up, and out comes Mr. Yeet, and out comes Rollins, and it's gonna be the fucking Avengers versus Thanos and crew. So I would expect a lot of that, but I think it's interesting, and I kind of want to ask you your take now. We're obviously gonna do predictions the week of, but the more I've been thinking about it, I'm beginning to think that maybe Rock and Roman do win. because maybe part of this story is that Cody is going to need a little help from his friend the Avengers to take out the extraneous parts. Like he'll get the Jey Uso, he'll get the Sami Zayn, he'll get maybe even a Seth Rollins to come out and take out, or Randy Orton to take out, so like just random things like that to happen. Then we finally get our one-on-one match, and maybe The Rock walks out on Roman, and that's like the moment. And then we get the Cody Roman one-on-one, and Cody takes everything from him, because I do feel like that is a part of the story. So I'm beginning to think like it's not going to be a terrible thing if Rock and Roman win night 1, because I think it could just set up this grand finale, so to speak, of night 2.
So I didn't want to say this because I felt like it was a slight edge in my favor, but you know what? I'll say this here because it might sound like I'm smart for once. So I don't necessarily love what happened on Friday in terms of the Rock promo. We'll talk about that in a second, I'm sure, or in a different moment. But I will say the one thing I want to take away that is piggybacking off of what Cody did on Monday was the weight belt. And I think this is why I'm so gangbusters convinced that the Rock and Roman are winning night 1. Because he said, "Hello, Michelle," and said, "I'm going to give this, boy a whooping. It's going to have his blood on it, and I'm going to give his mother the belt after I whip him with a dog," which nowadays you can't whip a dog anyway. So I don't know why he says it. It's a whole fight. He's 20 years too late, but it's a whole thing.
He's living the gimmick that he did like 15, 20 years ago,
Right.
like however long it was. I'm so bad with fucking timelines. I'm sorry, guys, but he's still living that gimmick, and he's doing a lot of the same things, and that's why it's like, because we can talk about that segment now. I know it's a very much a mixed segment for me as well, but just like him doing the concert thing, it is kind of like a funny throwback, and I appreciate it. And he is just so fucking corny. Part of it works for me, but part of me is watching this is just like, it's so fucking cringe. Like, this is the biggest fucking movie star in the world, and he is the most cringe motherfucker I've ever seen in wrestling in a decade, because he's just like, he just feels so out of touch. But I think it just works because Cody's using that as a reason, and so like it's The Rock being The Rock is just working for me for this. As cringe as it can be sometimes, like there was a few one-liners he had in this stupid little song that made me laugh. So overall, I appreciated it. It went too long. He went a little too diatribe-y, like The Rock always seems to be doing now. But I think overall it worked. But yeah, we can definitely nitpick it because there was a lot of shit that was shit.
So I do want to get back to the point about the weight belt, because for me, I look at it like this. They win night 1, them being Roman and The Rock, and they hand the belt over. She's sobbing, she's crying. And then night 2, that belt comes into play. Maybe his mom's there. The Rock takes it away. He goes to do something. And then the weight belt connects on Roman by accident or on purpose. Or I feel like the weight belt is the reason The Rock fucking does something at night 2. Because it wouldn't come into play unless there's bloodline rules or a double ref bump or something fucking bonanzas, which could potentially happen too. But I just think that they keep going back to that weight belt, and it just feels like that is a signature symbolism moment, because Cody has a weight belt that he gives away to fans. The Rock's giving it to his mom. There's just symmetry in it, and there's so many things that I think work with it. And I think if I had to book it, I'd say Bloodline wins night 1. And then here's the other thing. This is fucking enormously out there. And I said this to our boy Dom, and he was like floored when I said this. I said this would be a lofty goal. If I could say, for me as a viewer, and I'm curious what everybody else like Joe and Birdsky and everybody else that are in the chat, people listening, hit me up. Let me know what you think. I think for me, a lofty goal is night 1, you have Cody and Seth lose. Some fucking just disappointment left and right. You get to a point where Seth Rollins loses the championship. He's frustrated. And then you have the fucking big finish where Cody Rhodes walks away with the championship. This is the part that's weird, right? The Rock actually stays a heel, and somehow by what he does makes Roman Reigns a babyface after the fact. I think that's a lofty goal to have. I don't think they're getting reached for that, but if they check all those boxes for me, that would be the biggest and best thing they could do going into this.
I thought you were going to tell me we were going to get Cody versus Rock at SummerSlam, because I kind of want it. I
No,
kind of
well-
want a one-on-one match with Cody and Rock before we get Roman and Rock. Obviously, I know it's probably not going to work, but just the way they've built WrestleMania, it's like, man, I really, because especially The Rock keeps calling himself the final boss. Why is the final boss in a tag team match? Like it's the more like whatever, but it's made me want to crave like a Cody Rock one-on-one match. It's like it just I don't know. It's just the way they've booked it. Obviously, I understand the way they're doing it, but it's just the way they booked it has made me kind of crave that.
Listen, I agree with you, but as we saw, from the reports, quote unquote, as I roll my eyes, we'll see, right? Like maybe he's available, maybe he's not available. I would think SummerSlam he'd be available, but
because I still think the weekend is going to set up Rock Roman next year at Mania, which makes a lot of sense. I think this is how they always we're like this, it's a great way to do it because it'd be a long-term thing. And I think that's where you do that match and you do it next year when Roman won't be around titles and all that. And it'll probably be the main event of night 1 or night 2, which is fine. But it just, if we do get The Rock in between, which, I mean, who knows? Maybe he works Saudi. Maybe he comes back for SummerSlam. Like, the door's open now. And I mean, it's one of those things, because he does, he is right. He said, and he even says, he's like, there's no rush than walking out in front of that crowd. And it's just so true. You hear it from everyone who does it. And when they come back, Cena says the same thing. So once you get that little taste again, he might be like, you know what? Maybe I need a little taste in between before next year. So there's obviously a lot of possibilities. And if they could do I don't know. I'd be all for it. Like I said, I don't expect it to happen, but just the way that this has gone the last month or so, it's made me want that singles match, something I never would have said a month ago. So,
okay, that's fair. All right. You want to get back to more positivity?
Yeah, let's do it. Nestlemania, I want to talk about the match of the week. It was a tag team match. It was on Monday Night Raw, and they did it themselves. And there was only one negative, and I'll start with the negative so we can get into the shine. The new Creed song, are you fucking kidding me? They had a great fucking banner of a theme song, and you changed that piece of shit? Fuck you. Fuck you, WWE. Change it back. I'm going to start a petition. Go fund me with no money involved because we don't need to pay them. But you get the point. One of those free online petitions. I'm not going to set it up. Someone else set it up. I'll sign it. But besides that, this match was fucking awesome. This is why I have been excited for the Creeds on the main roster, because it's just, they're the type of tag team that even if you're not a fan of them, their matches just get fucking insane because they are so big and strong and chaotic and do crazy shit. So whether you're putting them with athletes like DIY, or you're going to put them with like the hard hitting athletes like Imperium, as we've seen, there's just so many combinations that are going to be absolute fucking bangers. And Nestlemania, this was a fucking banger. And yeah, I was shocked by the ending because I said last week, I'm like, I think both these teams should be on Mania. And I'm like, I feel like they'd really want to do the Creeds, but it was also like, man, DIY not being on there would be weird. And DIY gets the spot, and I think SmackDown has too. So the Creeds aren't going to be on it, which maybe they get like a pre-show match or something, but it surprised me because I felt like having their size in a ladder match would be a lot of fun because we saw it on Monday, man. Like, these guys are fucking nuts. DIY are nuts. This was a fucking classic, a TV match classic to me.
It's funny that you say that because I did not feel the same way. Like,
really?
I was happy. Here's the thing. And this is the part that I hope TJ and your boy Birdsky are sitting down, right? These are I'll read you the exact notes that I will have. And then this is going to be interesting, right? So we have DIY versus the Creeds. First 2 segments were dog shit because those guys are going to hurt people. It was fucking all over the goddamn place. Those guys are insane. God. And then
you just hate big guys who wrestle little guys. You're like, dude, always going to get hurt except for Nia.
Hold on. And I said right here, Johnny Gargano saved this matchup because the minute he got tagged in, he fucking saved this entire thing. I was almost ready to give him my comeback. I knew you were going to talk about this early, so I can't. The fucking right team wins, but the last segment, because it was a 3 segment, the last segment was fucking fire. It was. But the first 2 segments, you go back and you watch that, you were sleepy. You might have missed some things.
No, this was early in the night, baby. I don't get sleepy till the second half of Raw. This was early. This was a banner. I was on the edge of my seat. Here's you know what? I'm not surprised by this because you like the fucking perfect choreographed ballet matches.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You don't like the hard-hitting, more chaotic ones.
No,
What's beautiful about the Creeds is they're fucking chaotic.
Slops.
You get the crazy shit. It wasn't. It is
slop.
This was so much better than anything you'll see on fucking AEW slop.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
This was beautiful. You're just a hater, man.
No,
I'm not a hater. You don't like when big guys wrestle little guys, except for some reason Nia Jax you defend, even though it's the same fucking thing.
We've got on this program where I've talked about Baron Corbin and any little guy. It works. That's not the point. What I'm telling you is the Creeds are still
a different style.
The Creeds are still rough around the edges. They're no Diamond Mind, but they'll be rough around the edges for a little bit. I'm just saying right now, they have a lot of upside. But if you go back and you watch that match, there's a lot of things that are cringeworthy. There just are.
No, this match
Yes.
was awesome. The match started with the crowd chanting for Maxine. That ended in about 2 seconds because this match was so good. The crowd was going nuts the whole time. Yeah, everyone. I was at work and I see Twitter going ballistic for it. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to watch this match. Then I get home and watch it. It was awesome. You're fucking. This is. Well, we need. Know what I need? I need a button that I can press and it goes, Nestle Island, Nestle Island. This is the epitome of a goddamn Nestle Island.
You just don't.
So
You just don't look
Nestlemania,
at
go take your fucking chair, go put it on your fucking island where you're by yourself with your one little tree, and take your little coconut water and shove it straight up your candy ass.
It's gonna be a good
You drink
clip.
coconut water?
No, I don't, but I should. It's probably good for me. I do like a good coconut. I don't like shredded coconut, but I do like coconut.
Yeah, I'm not a big coconut guy. I'll do it in like a pina colada, but I'm not.
That's gonna be a great clip for something later on. Just shove it up your ass, Nestlemania. No, but look, so I grade differently. I look at things differently than other people, so it's fine. I'm
you like
on my
ballet.
own.
It's okay. It's okay.
Listen, here's the thing.
You like a dance routine?
I think Julius Creed needs to drop Brutus eventually because
Oh my
that dude's a
God.
fucking star. Brutus
You
is.
know, Brutus had more amateur wrestling fucking accolades than Julius did,
I
right?
know.
McAfee listed him off. It's
I was gonna
hilarious. I
say-
love having McAfee on the broadcast because he's just like resume. Ah!
The thing-
There's his ACL. Fucking
It's
lose.
just like McAfee, and I love that McAfee and Cole did a great job with the resumes for people this week, like especially with like the Creeds. They built them up with that. And I think there was somebody else that they also they were talking about too later on, but they just did a lot of great background stuff. They've been doing a lot more, especially on SmackDown side with the Legado del Fantasma, LWO. Like they go out of their way to talk about lineage and stuff, which never fucking happens. So Fluga Island. Yeah, that's me. Fluga Island. That's a Boy Meets World's reference. Look, I love the Creeds. I do, but I don't love.
Doesn't sound like it.
But
Every
I'm
time
just
we
saying.
talk about
I'm
him,
just saying.
gotta
I'm
knock
just
him
saying.
down, Nestlemania.
I'm just saying the right team won. That's all I'm saying.
I think both teams should have won. I want them both in the goddamn ladder match because
You-
I want more of this goddamn chaos that you can cry about after WrestleMania. The match was so unsafe. They were on ladders, which are so dangerous. I can't believe they did this stuff. Oh my god! Oh my god! Someone's gonna get hurt. Put them in bubble wrap like Bobby Roode. There's a reference for you.
Dom's gonna be rolling in his nicely comfy chair, going, "What are they talking about?" Fucking loves Bobby Roode. Anything you want to move on to something else because you clearly torched me in that segment. Anything else you want to talk about this?
I was very happy that the Awesome Truth qualified. The ending of the match always makes me laugh. Like R-Truth winning by mistake will never not be funny. R-Truth not realizing he won. R-Truth not realizing, like even the backstage thing before he sees Veer San going, "Oh, I feel bad for whoever has to fight those guys." It's so fucking simple. And he nails it. Like the easiest, corniest shit. But I don't care because he's so good at it. I enjoyed all of it. It was very simple. Them being in this match will be fun. I hope they bring back the thing where R-Truth, because I remember when he was like used to be scared of ladders and spiders. So I hope they bring back the ladder fear thing and all this stuff. And so there's a lot of things they can do here that they're like the fun part of this match. We're obviously going to get the more athleticism from these other teams. New Day obviously making it was pretty obvious too, but I'm glad they're in it because again, like this match, like it's gonna fucking random as hell, but this is a fucking JC special. It is gonna be pure chaos, danger, ladders, spot fest, fucking awesomeness. And I'm all for it.
So there is an interesting theory. We can talk more about it later when we do our preview at the end of the show. But there are two tag teams on Friday, that are going to qualify. There's one match that I'm very interested in seeing that might be a double DQ. So you never know. I think there's your opening for the Creeds.
Yeah, because I was confused. I was watching Friday and I didn't have context, and I saw that Legado won. I'm like, oh, they're in. I'm like, oh wait, no, they qualified to have a chance to qualify in a bracket. And I was like, what? It was so confusing. But yeah, no, they got a little mini. I think they got 4. Like I don't even know. They got 2 qualified. I don't even.
My thought was Imperium's not even in this at all, but whatever.
I know it sucks, but it's just I think it's one of those things like they're gonna be on Mania coming out with Gunther, so they do that a lot. I feel like it's like they'll be a part of Mania by being a valet or coming in an entrance, so it's like they kind of do it that way. But yeah, it is kind of a shame because Imperium, I would love if when they split the tag titles, I'd love them to be the champs of Raw because it'd be great, and especially having them with Gunther if he's still the champ.
I just think that here's the thing, right? Like with the 6-pack challenge or whatever you want to call it, ladder match, they're trying to shoehorn as many things in as they can in Mania, like they normally can. And a lot of people throughout the entire year have done a lot of great work. So that's why they're getting rewarded. And I understand that. But Imperium's right at the top of my list in terms of tag team wrestling. I don't understand. Maybe they just don't want to deal with it. Maybe somebody has an injury we don't know about, but they've done yeoman's work for the entire year, probably plus a year. And I think that they deserve this spot. And I don't think they're going to get it on Mania. And it's just sad because I feel like, especially with the New Day stuff they've been doing recently, I feel like if the New Day's in it, then
I know they
Imperium,
beat the New Day, and the New Day, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But again, I think they just look at it like we have all these tag team right now. We have 5 spots. They're gonna be on Mania anyway, so I think it's just an easy be like, okay, we're done with that, and that's what I think might factor into some of these SmackDown matches as well. So it'll be interesting.
I'm not very interested in what they have on SmackDown. I'll be honest with you, but it is what it is. This will be a fun match for sure. I do like a good car wreck, but you'll be seeing.
Do you though?
No, I think you like watching these things with me so that you can watch me go. "Ah!"
I mean that part is enjoyable. Like, ah! Oh my god! Oh no, what did he do?
We should just have a whole react of just me freaking out and you laughing at
Yeah,
me.
the cam on me on Cody matches and a cam on you on dangerous matches.
It's gonna be great. Can't wait.
Whoa!
All right. Anything else that's positive?
Yeah, I like the Uso and Uso promo because I've been waiting for this feud to kind of get going. They kind of like opened the box last week, just like, yeah, let's have a match. Yeah, let's have a match. But I did like the promo on Raw on Monday because I do like Jimmy pulling the angle, like it's because of me and stuff. Because as much like I want to see this anyways. This match has been sold to me since like they split. But I loved him referencing just the reminders, being like you won the tag team titles without me, and it's like you. Of all people, Cody Rhodes is who you side with, the number one enemy, like all these things. So I'm like, I thought it gave it the little bit of oomph that it needed to remind us to be like, oh yeah, there is a lot of here. And it's really fucking cool that it's happening. And this match is probably gonna be fucking awesome. And I'm looking forward to more face-to-faces between these two because I think there's a lot more work to do. But I think this was a nice jumping off point finally to get us going on the Uso feud because we got what? 2 Raws and 3 SmackDowns left. Like we're in the home stretch, baby.
The one thing I wanted to think about was, and maybe you can, because you said you really loved it. I did really enjoy it, but it was weird when he was like, "It was your idea to leave the bloodline," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" Like that was like it fell a little short for me on everything else he said made sense. But I was
he's rewriting history from his perspective. I think what it is typical heel stuff.
That's fine, but it was just weird. Like I guess sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm watching a movie. I'm not necessarily looking for logic, and sometimes it escapes me when because I'm into it, right? And then it was just one of those things where the record scratched, and I went, "Wait, what?" But no, again, it makes perfect sense for most of it. And again, here's the thing. I'll tell you this much. I think Brett and Owen at 10 might be one of the best sibling matches you'll ever see. I don't think Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania was that good. People can give me shit. I think this match has the opportunity to reach that height or do something different. I will be curious to see how good this match is. I'm trying to taper my expectations because every time I walk into something with expectations, I'm severely disappointed. So I'm looking at this card right now, and I think besides night 1 main event, night 2 main event, and maybe the Usos match is the only thing I'm really excited about.
See, I don't know. I'm all jacked for the triple threat US title match now too. Like, I just think that like some things like you throw into a pot and it gets spicy. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. There is so much spice there because kind of talked about it last week when I threw this out there as this was probably going to be the match. It's like, yeah, we have Logan Paul with those 2 guys, but we also have KO and Randy Orton. Like they're going to be button heads too. And we know they're 2 of the guys that you don't ever want to butt heads with. So I just think like that mixture, there's no way I'm not going to enjoy that match as well. Like the lead up for it's going to be whatever. But in terms of like in the ring and the psychology we're going to get from these 3 guys, I think that's a match that I know I will very much enjoy.
Again, I think for me to enjoy WrestleMania sometimes I have to walk in with 0 expectation, just be like, okay, let's see what we got. Let's wow me. You know what I mean? Because I think for me, I've seen a lot and I've forgotten more about wrestling than I remember it. And so for me, I look at it like, am I going to find something new? Am I going to enjoy this? So I think for me, I just got to shut up and watch. You know,
I think you do too, because I know how you operate. You go in, you're like, what can I pick apart? Oh, I want this to suck. Oh shit, it's actually good. But they did that wrong. Ha ha ha. I know how you operate. That's why we work. I look for the good things, be like, oh, this kind of sucks. Let's find the spin for this Maxine match. And whereas you're watching it, be like, oh, this is really good. Ooh, but that's not good. I can do that. So,
we're good yin to yang is what we are.
Yeah. A little salt and vinegar.
Which one are you?
I'm sure as hell not vinegar because vinegar's gross.
But you're salty.
Yeah.
It is
Salt's
what it
better
is.
than vinegar. I don't want to be vinegar, so maybe that wasn't the right. Maybe it's salt and pepper, and I'm the pepper because I'm cooler.
Hey, push it.
I do love
Push it.
salt though, so I'd be fine being salt.
But you are salty, that's for sure. Sometimes. Anyway, let's move on to something else. Anything else that you have that's positive, or would you like to get negative?
We can get heat.
Ooh, get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Now, look, there's a lot to talk about here. We talked about the Hollywood Rock stuff a little bit. Do we need to go into it more? Are we good?
I gave my thoughts. I didn't
Okay.
really. It's one of those things like I could pick it apart, but I think overall it does what it needs to do.
Okay, that's fine.
If you got things, go ahead. But for
No,
me,
it's just like I popped for the Hollywood Rock theme, and then I'm like, okay, it's a little jumbled with their fucking presentation. It is what it is. I did laugh when he was saying stuff about Seth Rollins, which we didn't get to, about your wife being more popular, crybaby, baby bitches, and all the other stuff. We also said the creepy Moana line. That was good. But again, overall, like you said, it took a very long time to get there, and he didn't string his own fucking song. He in every rock concert, he's strung the guitar out and played it, and he didn't.
I know
do
he
it
had
this
like
time.
celebrities doing it for him. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
it's hard to be a heel when you got fucking popular celebrities from the city you're in
Yeah.
doing shit. It just, but
It was hard.
whatever. He's a movie star now, man. He's a real movie star now, not a fake one like he was back then. He's an actual one now.
It's hard too because he was in Memphis and they all love him in Memphis. So
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
it was a weird spot. It was just like, how are you gonna boo The Rock? But like he didn't even try. He didn't even try, which I'm assuming he's gifted enough to do. But they, and I just thought that was bizarre. Anyway, moving on. So this is my question to you, because I guess it's Rock adjacent. And it was so fresh in my mind. I saw The Rock go out and do the concert, right? And then like only one segment in between, and we got an LA Knight promo from the Mean Gene position out there, which I do like when they do that stuff. But when I watched it, I felt like they are similar, right? In that whole entertainment aspect. I felt like they didn't do LA Knight any service by doing that as quickly as humanly possible. Like, I feel like if they put him in this back half of the second hour, I wouldn't have noticed it this much. But like, I looked at him and I went, man, is he miles away from being The Rock? He's not even close. And I think that's the hardest part of watching it, because he has a meteoric rise. He's doing so many good things. But, like when he's in the ring, I don't necessarily care about an LA Knight match. I care about the beginning and the end of a match, but not necessarily, the crux of it. But when I watched him do his promo, I went like, ooh, there's a lot of Rock similarities here. And maybe they're doing that by design. I don't know how you feel about it. Maybe it was nothing, but I just felt like it didn't help him in the long run.
I think that's been the comparison since it was. I mean, everyone's like, his gimmick is like a Stone Cold Rock mix, like like it's just like an infusion of that. So I think that makes sense. But I am glad you brought this up, because I think this is a good discussion point, because there's some things I want to talk about with this feud in particular, because I feel like it's one we've just kind of like glazed over, kind of ignored, just like for the most part. And so I think there's one thing I would do to improve it, and then I have kind of like a rant about it as well. But in terms of this feud, I think this match, more than any other match in the card, needs a gimmick. Some sort of gimmick, whether that's as simple as a street fight or something. It needs something, because obviously these two guys have had a pretty heated rivalry, and all this stuff. And we had Styles coming out in the chamber. So to pay it off, I do think maybe they do. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do some sort of a cage or something, but I feel like this match does need a gimmick to really sell it, because I'm assuming this will be a night one match and there could be potential. But so that's the gimmick part. The other part I have is that it's funny how fickle we are as wrestling fans. So I'll include myself in this, because we've kind of talked about like, oh, it seems like kind of a bummer. We've talked about on this program how we are in the twilight of AJ Styles' career and how we want him to have single matches at Mania because he deserves them. Now he's getting one against one of the biggest babyfaces in the company. And that biggest babyface, who was almost fired a year ago, is getting a match against a future Hall of Famer, a legend across the sport, period. One of the best of this generation. And we, as a community, have the audacity to bitch about it. Like that, it's one of those things, because yes, I understand maybe you're not in love with the build or whatever, but like both these guys are getting a singles match at WrestleMania. Not many people say that year to year, and we have the audacity to complain about it. Shame on us, but I do think it needs a gimmick.
Danny says if AJ wins, if LA Knight wins, AJ has to look at the globe of the earth.
Or he has to run and try to fall off the end.
Yeah, exactly.
I love flat earth jokes.
So the thing that I have here is this to me is the most underwhelming part of WrestleMania right now. Right now.
Yeah, we're fickle.
And I think the hardest part is LA Knight is not the wrestler's wrestler. He's the entertainer, right? And I think LA Knight's doing a great job doing wonderful things. AJ Styles is the wrestler's wrestler, right? Like he's not necessarily the best talker. So it's an interesting skill set between the two of them, right? Like it's like one can, help the other one out. But it's just I don't necessarily enjoy this whole feud because I feel like I just feel like it's made up. Like it doesn't there's not really any real personal animosity here. It's like
it is. LA Knight took his spot.
I don't believe that at all. I just don't.
Well, let me ask you this because you brought up an interesting point and it immediately clicked in my head. What was AJ Styles' best feud in WWE?
Roman Reigns, I think.
Really, you thought that was better than the Cena feud?
Cena's really good too. Yeah.
What's John Cena?
Superman.
An entertainer. First,
he can wrestle though.
So can LA Knight. But it's just like what was Cena's the thing I was making for 5 Move of Dooms. It's like, come on,
yeah,
we know Cena can wrestle, but it's like the same. Is it though? I'm just saying it's one of those things. I think AJ Styles' best work in the company was with someone who's much more of an entertainer than that. So it's like I think there's possibility. Like, sure, have they maybe gone about this feud the wrong way? Sure, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of it is just us as wrestling fans just being fickle because when you look at it, like if we said a year ago when LA Knight was the guy we wanted to get pushed that wasn't there, and we said he's going to have a singles match with AJ Styles next year at Mania, I think everyone would stand up and clap and be like, thank fucking God. He deserves it. With one of the best wrestlers in the company, an icon for one of his matches, the guy that we want to get pushed is having a singles match at WrestleMania with AJ Styles, we'd be ecstatic. But here we are a year later, and we're all being fickle as fuck.
I do have this question though. I think out of everything though, when we get out of it, do you think you're going to remember this matchup? Because I don't think I'm going to remember it at all.
I mean, look, it's one of those things. It's there's like fucking 14 matches on WrestleMania every year. Am I coming on here and being like, I expect this? No, I expect this. This is again the reason I'm including myself in this. This is at the bottom of my list as well. But I'm just trying to like play devil's advocate for all of us because I think like as a community we're all on the same side, and I'm like I think we need to just take a step back here because I do think we need to enjoy AJ Styles. Like probably only has so many singles matches at Mania left. Who knows? Maybe this is his last one. Maybe he's in multi-mans the rest of the thing. So I think it's one of those where we have to take a step back and at least give it a chance. And I think a gimmick would help because who knows? You give LA Knight in a gimmick match with like some sort of violence and shit. I think it could be really good. And maybe it is something. If it's night one, maybe it's something that sticks out from night one. I want to give it that chance because I think it's unfair to both these guys who we will fucking complain about. Like LA Knight should be pushed more. AJ Styles, there's more opportunity. They're both getting it here. So I think we got to give it a chance is all I'm saying.
Okay. Danny asks, could it be match of the night? I don't think so. It doesn't matter.
Night one, maybe. Because night 2's fucking loaded. Night 2, we got Cody Roman. We got Seth Drew. I believe the Usos. I think Logan Paul said he's doing night 2. So night 1, there's an opportunity there because I think since we've started the 2-night WrestleManias, night 1 for the most part has been the better wrestling show. Like we've come back and been, whoa, that's really good. Because night 2 has a lot more of the gimmicky stuff, which believe me, I'm all for in the feud stuff. But night 1 tends to have some of the bangers. So I think this has the potential to be a dark horse banner night 1. So I'm hopeful because these guys are getting a singles match and they deserve it. So give it some sort of gimmick and make us enjoy it. Make us all wrong as a community. Prove us all wrong.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right because honestly, I have zero expectations for this matchup. I really do. And I think the thing is I haven't been entertained by AJ Styles in a very long time.
Which is a damn shame because he's so fucking good. But it's one of those things. I think part of the disconnect is he's become part-time the past year and a half or whatever. And it's hard to stay invested in a guy like that when it's a start and stop. And I don't know. It's weird because he's not the best heel, but I enjoy him. I think more as like the heel. But I don't know. I think with LA Knight, it's just LA Knight's just too good for him on the mic. So I think
the other part for me is I think AJ Styles hasn't been relevant and to me relevant until the Undertaker last ride match. Like that to me is the last time I actually remember.
Like I love that fucking graveyard match so much.
But I'm thinking is like I'm thinking about him like I can't remember what he did past that.
It really hasn't. It's
been what 3 years, 4 years when he's done like. What is he like? He's been injured. That's one thing. He's part-time. That's another. I remember he hit himself on the sign at WrestleMania one year and had that giant gash. But I don't remember the match he had. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the problem is like, he's the phenomenal one. We remember the match with Shane McMahon. That had no business being that good. I think that was probably the match. But, and of course, that's where Ray's going to go best in the world. But, but in my head, I'm thinking like, where has AJ Styles been the last 4 years?
No,
In
you're
my
not.
opinion.
You're not wrong. You're not right. I do think that's part of it, but that's why I'm saying I want to give this a chance because I think there's only so many left because he clearly like it's one of those things. He's the guy who re-signed with WWE because they allow him to have the comfortable schedule. I think a reason why you see some of these other stars going to AEW is a more comfortable schedule. Well, AJ Styles and like Roman Reigns are able to have those types of schedules with WWE, so it's a no-brainer for them to do it. So, but that of course is a byproduct of it. So,
Okay. Good discussion. I
yeah,
like that. That was
we haven't talked about that, so I felt like it was about time because I think the closer we get to Mania, it's going to get pushed aside again. So,
Can we have a candlelight vigil for AJ Styles? That'd be
no,
great.
because he ain't dead yet, baby. He got more left in the tank.
Howard's got more left in the tank. All right. Can we something else? Okay, so I really want you to ask me about a little bit about this because I'm curious. We had this random fucking match where Orton beats Waller. Standard Orton stuff. Great,
Yeah.
right? You know what we want to get to here. KO comes out, saves the day, and in my opinion, the dumbest fucking stunner to RKO I have ever seen in my fucking. And again, Theory tried. He really fucking tried. And someone cut it in editing to stop the fucking stop jump thing. And in editing, it looks phenomenal. No pun intended. Like it really does look great. If he had done it live, it would have looked wonderful. But all I could think about was, Jesus Christ, is this bad? This is fucking terrible. You want to give away the business. You want to give away the illusion of a fight. Like, what the fuck? But that was just me. I'm curious what you felt about it.
Go back and watch Shawn Michaels many times in his career. It's one of those things like, and I know Theory's not doing it like for the reasons that Shawn did it. But it just stuff like that. Like I agree with what you said. I agree with the sentiment. But for me personally, deep down, I kind of enjoy this.
Yeah, because you like stupid, goofy shit, though.
It's because it's funny, man. I just look at. We watch a lot of wrestling and we do it for the show, and we put in a lot of like hours to watch this shit. So yeah, I want to take enjoyment out of it. Because if not, what the fuck am I doing?
That's fair. That's fair.
Sometimes there's some of the there's a lot of it that's cringe, but look, I love all the people involved in here, and I think Theory's gotten had a really tough year in terms of criticism for no reason. Even though I think he's one of the best, like we've talked about it. I think you even mentioned it recently. You want him to go back to kind of how he was with the Goofy with the Way. And that's kind of what this was to me. It was that type of Theory. So that's why personally I didn't mind it. Everything you said is correct, and I don't disagree with it. But at the same time, I still enjoyed it.
All right, moving on to other things. We have Carlito beats Carlito comes out after fucking Santos beats Dragon Lee in 3 minutes in a jobber alert.
That was surprising.
Ray kills everybody at the end. They challenge each other next week, which is interesting that Santos and Ray is on a SmackDown and not. If they do another 6-man, I'm gonna fucking puke my brains out.
Yeah, that's all I could think of was like this is either a multi-person or this is gonna lead to some sort of needing a gimmick match for these two as well.
And then finally, I'll be curious how you feel about this. Oh yeah, like Bailey and Dakota Kai was thrown out. It was a match. In this process, it looks like Asuka may have tweaked her knee, and then they do this fucking incredibly, and it looked cool. But I was so glad that Ray told me that Bailey didn't get a concussion because all I was thinking about was, Jesus Christ, like this woman finally gets a Royal Rumble victory, finally gets her singles match at Mania. I would hate for her to have a fucking problem walking into WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like to me, it was like it didn't need that. It didn't need them holding her while doing the moonsault.
I don't want anyone who's booked already to wrestle again before Mania. You got plenty of people on the roster. Let them wrestle.
Yeah, do talk.
Cody, Bailey, put him in fucking bubble wrap like Bobby Roode and fucking stick him on the side. I want no injuries.
I'm looking at this going like, and especially with we can talk about Becky Lynch at some point, but when I like that shit, I'm just thinking to myself, like, you're not even protecting Becky Lynch at this point. You're just like throwing her out there like a fucking crazy person. And I'm just like,
I think this is helpful for Becky's build though.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially because her getting over Nia, I think was very important. And her and Liv addressing their issues, I think was very important. Now we're on Naria, so she gets her rest. But I think she needed it more. But yeah, the Bailey stuff, I'm also curious on this because obviously we have no idea if the women's tag titles are going to be on Mania, whether they were before or after Asuka got injured, or if this injury is serious or whatever. But it's also just like, I think the SmackDown is an important one. And then because I don't know what the fuck Bianca's doing at Mania. I don't know what the fuck Jade's doing at Mania. Are they going to be like a fucking tag team and go for the tag? Like just all these things going through my head. It's just like, I think it's important for SmackDown this week to kind of point us in a direction because Bianca's way too big of a star to not know what's going on yet. Like, unless you'd have her do the Seth Rollins thing last year or something, and so we're getting to a point with this women's division. Like, besides Bailey and Io on SmackDown, like, is anyone else going to be doing something, or are they just not? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the women's tag titles. It's Bianca. It's Jade. Those are the big three.
Tiffy.
Liv and Nia. Yeah, Tiffy as well. Naomi even. Like, there's a lot of moving parts here. So it's like, we need some answers soon, because I'd like there to be more than 2 women's matches at Mania. I'm assuming there will be, but we're getting close, guys. You gotta figure it out.
You know what would be a fucking mind-blowing thing?
Oh boy.
All right, here's the thing, right? For me, this is going to be shocking to me, right? You have on AEW television, Mercedes presented as this, she is the biggest star in AEW, and some might say she is. Wonderful that she waited and did her her New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff and all that stuff. She believed in herself. There she is, right? On the other program, her tag team partner who left with her, who went to Impact, did a great fucking job, comes back. Imagine if Naomi went back into a tag team and won titles at WrestleMania. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Right?
Yeah, that's what's so weird to me with all this. It's just, I feel like they wouldn't win, because I don't even know what the teams would be like. It's so fucking jumbled. I just think we need answers. I think that's the thing, because it's just that there's too much talent out there right now without answers, and these women deserve answers, and we have fans deserve to have some sort of build for these women to sell us on a match. So,
I mean, I personally believe that it's going to be Bianca and Naomi against the fucking tag champs.
But then what about, are we really not doing Jade's debut at Mania now?
I don't think Jade's ready yet. I really don't. I mean,
I'm almost beginning to think it's like Jade and Naomi versus the Kabuki Warriors, and maybe there's like other teams. Maybe they do like a fucking, what they always do, the fucking thing where there's like every woman's tag team. I think it's more likely we could get a Bianca Tiffy match 1-on-1.
I'd be fine with that too, but yeah. I just don't think Jade's ready for a singles match yet in WWE.
She might not be. How the fuck we know Nestle? She's been signed for 8 months and done nothing but train, so she could be. No, we have no fucking idea. Nobody does. And if anyone says they do, they're a fucking virgin who doesn't know shit, so don't listen to them.
There you go. Moving on, we got other things to talk about. Moving over to Raw, I want to make sure we don't miss anything specific.
Let's talk about those jobber alerts.
Oh, Jesus.
That's heat.
I mean, how many do we have?
Why are Caden and Katana getting squashed by this fucking weird look it. I'm all for you doing what happened at the end of this match for Candice and Indy to get the win. But can we let this woman wrestle for like 7 or 8 minutes? Let them show off how good they are in the ring. There's a lot of talent. Like, we've talked about Caden and Katana being the most entertaining women's tag team because they have actual fucking tag team moves. Candice and Indy were pretty good in NXT too. Candice is a fucking vet of all vets, and Indy's a young stud. Let's fucking let them wrestle a little bit before we do the bullshit. That's my biggest thing. A jobber alert for your fucking former champs. What the fuck are we doing?
It's rough. I think the women don't. There's like 6 women that get the fucking time. And then that's it. You know what I mean? Like they find their top stars and their tippy top stars, but that's it. Like anybody that's remotely left in a tag team, good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. Honest to God, it's terrible. Was there any other jobber alerts that you were talking about?
I don't know. That was mainly that one.
Okay, that one was. I don't think there's anything else.
The men's tag teams all got like 20 minutes because
they got to fly. They got to do all sorts of shit. Moving on to other things here. I'm curious what you thought about. Because we didn't talk about this, and you may not want to talk about it now, but Gable and Sammy and Gunther.
I'm still butthurt that Gable didn't win last week. So I think the way they did this is probably good because I think they know we're all butthurt. And
look, so for me, it's not the best situation. We talked about it last week that Sami Zayn needs to win the world title, not the Intercontinental title. That's a thing. And clearly Josh just lost some money right there. But that fucking...
Yeah, they were fucking down 15. They came all the way back, got it down to 2, but they missed a 3 to tie it.
That is what a degenerate looks like, folks. Just take a good look.
It's the first game of March Madness, baby. This is number 1, the first game.
Is it play-in?
16 versus 16, baby. The madness has begun.
This is a jobber team is what it is. I love it.
Yeah, they're both conference champions, though. Wagner and Howard. Come on, let's go. Last names and first name. Last name versus first name.
Howard Wagner. Yeah. Okay. Great. Moving on. So here's the other thing. They have this great long shot from the fucking promo all the way backstage to that thing. I just love the production of it. I thought that was wonderful. But the one thing I wanted to say was I really kind of enjoy where Chad Gable's going at, and it makes me not want to see Sami Zayn even more. Like, I feel like they're not going to do a triple threat match because he did literally Gunther did a triple threat match last year. I don't think they're going to do that again for him. I think Chad Gable is literally not going to be on Mania. I mean, that's insane to me. That's fucking insane to me, considering the year he's had. But maybe that's where we're going. Maybe that's what we're doing. I don't know. Some people have tried, let's put it this way, to draw comparisons. And I'm curious how you feel about this because you've seen Rocky, right? I assume you know enough about Rocky. Okay. They're drawing the comparison of Ivan Drago to Gunther, easy layup. They're saying Sami Zayn's Rocky, and they're saying that fucking Gable is, Creed, trying to get him revved up to fucking fight the monster. And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck would Chad Gable help Sami Zayn? It's not going to fucking happen. I don't think so. They're not going to be running from the
he kind of did by giving him the advice. It was kind of like in a negative way, but I think it's a tough situation because I want Sammy to lose at Mania. I think it should happen, and I want Gable to be the one to eventually dethrone it. It's just the way they're doing it. It's gonna be weird because Sammy could win at Mania, and people are gonna be sour about it, including me, which isn't what it should because I don't know. It's such a weird thing, and I'm not into this. But I'm hoping they're doing it because I'm hoping they're laying the groundwork that Gable's still involved and he'll be the one, and that this will all make sense down the line. But I don't really see the threads yet. I'm not a sewer, but I can't really twine the shit together to do the. That's a terrible analogy because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm baking a pie. I have the ingredients. I don't see how it's going to taste good right now. How about that? I'm a lot better when I compare it to food. So they're laying out all these ingredients on the table for me. And I'm looking at it and they're like, look it, you got to trust at the end of this pie is going to be fucking delicious. And I'm looking, I'm like, this shit doesn't go together. It's not going to taste good, but who knows? Maybe when they whip it up, you put it together, cook it for the right amount of time. You pull it out, you smell it, you stick your finger in it, take a little taste. It might be fucking delicious, but I don't know right now. Right now, I just don't know.
I can't believe he fucked a pie. It's the only thing I could think of when you're talking.
I have never fucked a pie. I have never had a desire to fuck a pie. I've had desire to fuck a pie with my mouth.
Sorry. Couldn't help myself. You're talking about sewing in holes and then you go to
pie.
It's
a terrible analogy. I always have to do food because I never sew. I think I sewed when I was like a kid. They had you do one of those things. I don't even remember how the fuck I did. I don't know shit about that shit, man. So I gotta talk about what I need to talk about. Eating.
I can't wait.
What did Danny say here?
I can't. Danny says,
eyes are watering.
How about if Gable wins the IC title after Mania, the Raw after Mania? That would be cool for the last couple of Raws and Mania and a little bit of meh.
I'd love that. Love that.
I just, sorry, I can't think straight with the fucking pie.
I don't know. I'm getting hungry. It was funny because I went shopping today too, and you know how Stop and Shop they do the mini pies, they're $1.50. I always walk through the baked goods section. I usually never buy anything because I try to be a good boy. But I was looking at these little pies, and I'm like, they had a couple of them. There was obviously the fruit ones that are good, but there was this chocolate one. It wasn't like chocolate
pie.
It was a chocolate something else, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, that looks good. I would love to eat that for a snack tonight. And I didn't get it because I'm gonna be a good boy. But now here I am talking about pie at 8:56 p.m. on the goddamn podcast. And I'm like, I want some fucking pie after this. And I don't have any goddamn pie because I didn't fucking buy it. God damn it.
I'm clipping off that pie analogy and I'm using it as a clip because I'm just gonna write, what is he talking about? That's it.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, goodness.
I'm so hungry now. Damn it.
Speaking of hunger, we did not talk about the reason we talked about this entire show, the Spotlight Junkie promo. I'm curious how you felt. For me, it was I get what they're doing here, and it was still really good, but I felt like it was bizarre in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, this wasn't their best. I'm still enjoying Drew and Seth, but I don't really have many takeaways from this promo because I don't think we did much. And the Spotlight Junkie thing, I don't know. It was the thing they referenced last week, and it took me a minute to remember what it was, which always isn't a good thing. But then they fucking beat it. They WWE'd it. They fucking beat me over the head with it. And by the end, I was like, okay, that's enough. I get it. Spotlight Junkie. I get it, Seth. you could stop saying it over and over again.
Yeah, I thought like if you change it to Spot Monkey, I would have been like, yes, of course, Seth Rollins is the Spot Monkey, of course. I would believe that any time of the day. But then you get to a point where like the only thing I thought was telling was like when the lights are on brightest, I always do my business, and when the lights are on brightest, you fucking crumble. I was like, okay, that's the line in the fucking package. I get it, but like you and I have talked about this all the time. There's what 2 Raws left, 3 SmackDowns. We talk about maintenance, right? Like you get to a maintenance week where there's not much to do. I feel like this feud is getting to a point where there's not a lot of things they're going to be doing here. There's a lot of tweaks. Like I feel like this is like the only thing I can think of is that there might be a fucking Cody and Roman in the bloodline kind of thing. And then like, Mac comes out and claymores him to be like, see, don't pay attention to me kind of thing. But like,
well, I think that's what it is. I think this is the easiest one is because what is the best part of this feud? It's Seth ignoring Drew. Like it just like that's why this started off great with Drew doing his entrance and Seth cutting him off, not acknowledging him, Seth doing his bullshit in the ring. And they'd be like, "Oh, Drew, I didn't see you standing there." Like that was all great. It went downhill after that, but like Drew just standing in the corner looking annoyed. Like that's what you do the next couple weeks. You have Seth just not take Drew seriously because then when Drew beats him on Sunday, it just like that's the story. So that's what you do. This one's easy. You have Drew try to fucking do stuff and Seth just be like, oh no, and him focus on Roman, The Rock, and Cody. Like that's what you do. But I think they went a little too deep into it this week. I think it's just I need more of the ignoring, less of the acknowledging. Acknowledging for the other shit.
I will not be ignored. Anyway, okay, I think that's it. We're gonna get hopeful.
Yeah, let's get hopeful.
Glorious. You're my only hope. Would you like me to go first?
If you would like to.
So mine's going to be short and sweet and hopefully to the point. I hope. Get it? I hope. So I was really intrigued with the backstage segment on Monday Night Raw with the Judgment Day when they were talking about a bunch of different things. But they started out that promo talking to Andrade. And as I was watching it unfold, I thought to myself, well, here's what I want, folks. That was perfectly fine. They were all like, hey, we'll do business. We'll talk. We'll see you. You have a match next week. We're going to be very interested in seeing what you do and all that stuff. And all I could think about was at the very end of that portion of the promo before they ripped into JD and Dom, they had this face off with Priest and Andrade. And I said, well, there's my easy hope. They're going to kick Priest out and they're going to put Andrade in Judgment Day. That's what they're going to do. And it honestly might even be an upgrade. Might not be tall, but he's a fucking animal. He's a fucking animal. You see the size of those arms? Jesus Christ. The arms, his arms might be the size of my body, the whole body. It's insane. The guy is jacked.
Well, he's picking up Charlotte in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. So
I'm not even going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. So you do it. But anyway, that's my hope. I think that Andrade, and then that way you get Priest away, do his babyface nonsense that he's going to probably do that no one's going to like. But Andrade and continuing Judgment Day would work, I think, and making him a little bit darker with the skull, and they can do something with Finn's fucking Daft Punk mask, and I'm sure they'll think of something nonsensical. But that popped into my head, and I think I was like, oh, I think that would help because Andrade needs somebody to talk for him, and I think Mommy and then Dom and then even JD to a lesser extent could help him too. So I think that'd be fine.
I like Andrade and Dom together, so I'm cool with that. But my hope Nestlemania is, you know what I like.
Pie.
I like meat. Oh, meat pie is pretty good.
Meat pie.
Yeah, just meat and pie. It's fucking delicious.
You ever had shepherd's pie?
Potatoes, yeah, vegetables, like all that shit. Like mix it up with gravy.
I feel like we should do a podcast together while we're cooking. We'd never get anything done.
I would just be eating. I love.
We should just be grilling eating things, and then you telling me that I can't grill, and then you'd step in and then grill the right way.
I definitely would. Yeah. Look, and I'm Italian. I love food. I think about food all the time. My fucking TikTok is mostly people fucking preparing food and me like I fucking it, being like I want to fucking eat that. Like this is my life. I love food. Food's delicious. If I could have one job in the entire world, it'd be to be Guy fucking Fieri. He just fucking gets to go around the country just fucking eating at delicious places. That's the best job in the world. I'm so jealous. I wish I had fucking cool spiked hair and cool catchphrases and a fucking funny laugh and shit. So I'd be great. That's my dream job. But my Hope Nestlemania is about the Meatvitational at WrestleMania. Because look, there's a lot of big guys that don't have anything to do. And you know why this also is a cool Hope Nestlemania? Because I want WWE to do the Meat Match Invitational before goddamn Tony Khan. Because I think that would make it extra hilarious. But look at Bronson Reed's calling for it. Otis is calling for it. There's a lot of big men. Who knows? Maybe Braun Strowman's ready to go. You can throw him in there. Extra meat. Oh my God. We could do so much, but this would be a fun little, like, 10-minute fucking slop fest of hell that I would love. So that's my hope, is I want to meet Invitational at WrestleMania and Nestlemania. The big boys deserve it. Let's make it a match. You can have R-Truth come out, think he's in this match, and be all confused. That'd be great too, and let him get meted around. But yeah, I'm all for the meat. So hashtag JC knows. Hashtag JC's hopes come true. Hashtag JC wants to have a meat match of the year at fucking WrestleMania. A meat Invitational. Let's do it. Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 nom. Okay, don't call it a comeback. It's our comeback. I'll be honest with you. I completely forgot we were talked about ahead of the show for my comeback. So I don't know if you want to remind me, or I can think of something.
You were going to give it to Sami Zayn, which is why I was surprised you fucking talked about that earlier.
So here's my other thing. I will say this much. This is for Danny then. This is for Danny. Not only is she an American citizen now, but I'm going to give my comeback to Becky Lynch. She had a fucking great match against Nia Jax in the last woman standing match. And that leg drop, I was going
to say, rate the leg drop.
I was going to say, here's the thing, folks. I have been very hard on her. She has been a clown in that ring. She did a great job in this matchup. And that leg drop, might I give a little bit of advice to Becky Lynch? I will say this much. When she's up high and she lands on somebody, it fucking works. It fucking works.
You're actually going to give her advice.
I mean, just do the leg drop, not from the top rope, only from the top of a cage or top of a ladder, and it works. Because she just falls, and she just fell right on Nia. Kaboom of the week. It fucking worked. And I was just like, you know what? It fucking looked cool. I'm okay with it. But the one thing I do want to ask very quickly before we get into your comeback, JC, and I had this discussion on Twitter with people, or X, depending on how you feel. Everybody pops so hard for a table spot. You know what I mean? Like, they fucking love their table spots. It's about the kaboom. It's about the crunch. It's about sending somebody through some furniture. Do you ever think there's going to be a different weapon that people are going to get?
Because look, I enjoy a kendo stick. A chair's fine. My boy, the chairman, does it the best. A ladder, is cool. But you know what makes a ladder cooler? If they jump off the ladder through a fucking table. It's just like we like destruction. A table represents destruction. And the fucking Dudley boys were my favorite thing growing up. Devon, get the tables. I was up in my seat and so pumped up. So I think for all of us, it's just ingrained in our mind. So I think the combination of we like things getting smashed and the fucking Dudley boys, tables are iconic forever. I'm team table forever and always. I love a good table. I've been through a table. I would go through a table again in the right circumstances. So yeah, team table.
So my question is, when you watch the indie circuit, you see these people getting thrown through like corrugated doors and stuff. Like, what's your thought on that? Is that weird to you?
Well, there's something your first sentence there is a problem I have. You said when you watch the indie circuit. I don't.
Okay, well, you've seen people send.
If people send me amateur videos of people like doing stupid shit. Yeah, but like
because people get thrown through doors now, and planes of glass clearly dive in alley.
I don't need to see the planes of glass. I saw Darby do it, and that was but
So you think the table is the coup de grace?
It's simple. It's an easy smash. You see it coming. We know it's safe enough for the most part. There's obviously little things that can happen, but it's just it's simple and easy, and it works, and it can easily be hit under a ring, and I can pull it out. Don't need to go on location. Don't need to do any of that. It's there. There's also an announce table. Love seeing people go through that, even though they're made to fucking collapse like a fucking thing now, but don't care. Don't care.
Okay, ahead. Give me your comeback.
My comeback is going to, I don't know if you heard Nestlemania, but she's a CEO. I'm giving it to Mercedes Moné. We touched on it briefly off the top of the show last week. We didn't really get to dive into it, but Mercedes Moné was in my office last week, Nestlemania. And I don't know if you saw this tweet from Tony Khan, but I'm going to read it. Doing interviews about AEW with Mercedes Varnado at NBC Sports Boston, which is incorrect. He was doing it with NBC 10 Boston. Not the people I actually work for, but we share a building. Now, after the huge success of AEW Big Business, ! Cocaine. Incidentally, NBC Sports Boston has one of the best office coffee setups I've ever seen. And he has a fucking, I must be Star Trek, Jeff going, incredible machine. It's like a Keurig that has like a lot more options. It's like a touchscreen Keurig. I feel like everyone have these now. You're telling me there's fucking gajillion, billion, medillion fucking there who owns a fucking soccer team, a wrestling company, God knows what else, thinks the goddamn coffee machine at my fucking shitty office is the most incredible machine he's ever seen? How much fucking coke did you snort in the morning, Tony, before you walked in that goddamn office? I go in that kitchen every fucking day to heat up my dinner. And you know what? I am not impressed. You know what's more impressive than our goddamn coffee machine is the fucking fizzy water machine we have. The coffee machine's a fucking standard fucking business coffee machine you get nowadays. You take the little cup, you put it in, you press the button, you put your cup under, makes the fucking coffee. Like, what the fuck? This guy's so fucking rich, and he thinks the coffee machine in the goddamn building that I go to every day is the most. I'm so flabbergasted by this. What? But yeah, my comeback's Mercedes Monet.
JC's coffee machine is all elite.
I've used it like twice. It's not that impressive. It's a nice coffee machine. Yes, you press the button, it makes you a coffee. But like, I feel like that's pretty standard, right? This guy's a fucking billionaire. What the fuck is wrong with him?
Can I clip this off, or are you gonna be upset because it has to do with?
Don't clip it off. Yeah,
don't.
Clip it off.
Oh man, this is good.
This is for the people who are watching the podcast.
Oh
right now.
man,
they get to enjoy this. They get to enjoy this.
That was an all-time rant. That's a bummer.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, but stop it.
Stop
it. I don't want. If I can't clip it, I can't use it. This is too good not to use. I can't use it. I can't. It's useless to me. I'm having a good time. Everybody that's in the chat gets to enjoy it. Everybody that's listening on the podcast can enjoy it. But this would get you in trouble. I know. But Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There are people at work that are aware of this and see this. So
they're
shout out Kwani. She did the interview with Mercedes. I think it's the second time she's interviewed her. So repping.
She looked like Elton John, not Kwani, but Mercedes. I was just
did you see her at the Celtics game too? I put her on TV that night too because I kind of control the
somebody was like, oh, nobody cheered for Mercedes on the TNT broadcast. I'm like, oh, here we go.
They taped that because I sent that video to some people that we know. They taped that about a half hour before they aired it. They do it during like timeouts. It's what they do at basketball games. The handheld guy goes and like it was a promo, so it was having her doing because they're running the fucking AEW thing. They taped that a half hour before out of whim. She wasn't on the jumbotron or anything. That was a pre-taped thing they did during a commercial break. It aired a half hour later for a promo. Little behind the scenes for you people who don't fucking know shit and are like, cheer for. That's why, you fucking moron. Learn how TV works. Damn it.
We worked in TV. We work in TV and do things, but like
a lot of stuff that is
we
live
do.
It's not fucking live.
No,
you think all those backstage segments on Raw? A lot of them ain't live, buddy. Hate to tell you, there, nerd at home sitting in his underwear in his mom's basement. It ain't
live. Tonight, between the pie and the fucking coffee machine.
Look at her fucking tweet.
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, and they tweeted out a picture of Mercedes.
I don't
want to Tony Khan's Twitter.
Listen, I don't want to talk about the coffee machine anymore if we can't use the clip. That's upsetting me. This is up there with Bailey being on the Jobber Knocker podcast. That's all I'm saying. That's how upset I am with this. All right. Anyway, let's get into the final part of the show, the big old finish. Can we get this over with, please?
Yeah. I guess we can start with AEW because we're talking about coffee machines. This week on Wednesday, I think it's the main event. It's Christian and Copeland in an I Quit match for the TNT title. I'm assuming the Cope Dope is winning this one because he ain't saying I quit, and it's in his fucking hometown. So,
I mean, I would assume that Edge wins. I mean, Adam Copeland, whatever. It just
the Cope Dope. That's what we'll call him.
And I'm not saying this because you know how I feel about him and his diatribes. Has anybody been colder coming from WWE to AEW? I don't think that's possible. I think he is the coldest he's ever been.
They booked him horribly, like since his start, because like his debut was fucking awesome, and like the stuff after that. But like the way some of it was unfortunate. He got injured, but like I think doing the fucking Cope Opens against no names every week fucking hurt his name brand value. It really did. It made him feel not special. He's a guy that should have been booked like a lot of the other ones you sign where they feel special, where they don't wrestle a lot right away. It's fucking Edge. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. He came back from a debilitating career-ending neck injury a few years ago, and it was amazing. And they've treated him like he's just a guy on the roster fighting for a mid-card title. Granted, that mid-card title is incredibly booked and the champion is awesome, but they have not done him any favors. And part of it's his fault because he's like, I want to go out there now and wrestle all these kids every fucking week. And oh, yeah, I got hurt because I'm old. Yeah, good job, Cope Dope.
I don't know. It's tough. It's fucking tough. Because I'm sitting there going, like, anytime he's on my TV, I'm like, oh, you're ruining a Christian Cage segment now. That's how I feel.
He's gonna end the greatest TNT championship reign of all time. It beat Miro's. And that's hard for me to say because I thought Miro's was amazing.
All right, moving on.
We have Eddie versus Okada for the whatever the fuck triple title
crown
of fucking crown bullshit.
I'll be honest here. Okada's amazing in the ring, but I don't think he's going to be a bigger star than he was in Japan. I just don't. Not in America. I don't care what they do. There's just no way. He's like the audience will always love Okada because he's.
Well, let me put it this way. I'll say it in a simple way for you. If WWE couldn't do it with Shinsuke, you think AEW can do it with Okada?
No fucking clue. No way.
I think Takeshita has a better chance because the way he wrestles is fucking entertaining. So he has a better chance. And he's bigger. We also have Jericho versus Hook. Oh my God. Why?
Well, we're gonna find out what Hook's made of because if he can drag something out of Jericho with his fucking melted candle body, gonna go in there and fucking try to do something. And Hook to me just looks like Edward Scissorhands with a fucking boxing tights on. I don't fucking get it anymore. Like I love the mystique around Hook, and they fucking ruined it. They need to get rid of the FTW championship. They need to do something with him because honestly, they're treading water with him for the last year and a half, and that they've lost complete interest for me. I don't care about Hook. I really love Taz. Like Taz is one of my top people of all time. I love him, and I loved his son when he started, but I feel like they just didn't do enough for him, and they still don't continue to do enough for him.
I agree. I 100% agree. And Chris Jericho is not the fucking answer because he sucks and needs to get off my TV. As you would say, we also have a tag team match player. Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo take on Toni Storm and Mariah May.
This is where I feel like Ray's going to give me a bunch of bullshit on Twitter, but I feel like when it was announced that Thunder Rosa was a tag partner, I was like, where the fuck is Britt Baker? Like, that was the thing. I was like, come on, let's get Britt Baker going. Let's do this thing.
Well, Rosa's been back for like a month. This is the first thing she's actually done. So
I think because, unfortunately, because of her injury, she is so cooled off, and because of the thing that happened with her backstage with the, not working with everybody, whether you believe that or not, that's for up your own debate. I don't give a shit. But I'm just like, between that and the injury and being long gone for a while, and then it seems like the fucking division has passed her by. I just don't see how she's going to catch that moving train, especially with Mercedes and Toni Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, so many others. I just feel like there's no reason to keep Thunder Rosa in AEW, in my opinion, anymore. Unless she wants to help people get better. That's it.
I think there's stuff they could do, but yeah, we've seen them not do well with non-title women's feuds, so there isn't much hope there. We do have matches on Rampage because this is following Dynamite on Wednesday, so I believe it's 3 hours total. We have for the 18,000th time Willow and Statlander taking on Julia and Sky. This one is a street fight, though.
Nobody cares.
Oh, I care because the best entrance in AEW is goddamn Julia Hart. Might be the best entrance. I literally I barely watch Collision anymore, but I'll be fast forward and I see the entrance and I just have to watch the entrance. Every time. And then it's like, oh, here comes the Kings of the Black Throne. And they have a super shitty entrance, this and this. And I'm like, why don't they just use that entrance? It's so good. And yet they have this fucking shitty entrance for the tag teamers. Which they lost, by the way, to some tag team I'd never heard of. That was interesting. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. We also have the Best Friends versus the Callis family in the tournament.
Any fucking time I hear the name Best Friends, I think Nepo hire. I think waste of time. They are perennially. Is it perennially? Is that a word? Perennially? Whatever.
The perennial is the word. I don't know.
Perennial.
Joe went to bed, so we can't ask the
perennial jobbers, perennial Nepo hires, perennial always on Rampage, because that's where they fucking belong, where nobody's gonna fucking see them because they fucking suck. Sorry. They do. They got no personality, no charisma, nothing in the ring. They got fucking nothing between the legs. They got nothing. No fucking nothing.
You've looked at their dicks?
No, I'm just saying they got no gusto, no nothing, no fucking.
You said nothing between their legs, so yeah.
Like fucking balls. They got to do something to impress me.
Are they gonna win this match against? I think it's Hobbs and Fletcher.
I hope not. but they probably
Yeah.
will.
I looked at this bracket. It's confusing. It's like the SmackDown.
It doesn't matter because they got fucking Hidden Team A and Hidden Team B, and it's gonna be Hangman and Omega in one, and there's gonna be fucking and something else in the other, and those are the teams that are gonna make the finals probably.
Ugh.
I'm telling you,
Ugh.
Hangman and Omega are gonna come back, and it's gonna be a fucking tag team.
I know you're right, and I fucking don't want it. God. But yeah, I mentioned SmackDown. We have a Cody Roman face-to-face, allegedly alone. We have Mysterio versus Santos, as we mentioned. And then we have some tag team qualifiers to talk about their little bracket. We have AOP versus the Profits and Waller in Theory versus the OC. I believe the winners of these matches face each other or something. I don't know.
Well, it's gonna be Waller in Theory because the OC.
I would
no
think so.
fucking
He's
shot.
not doing better work at NXT, so.
I still believe that the fucking other match will be a throwout match and they'll have a last chance battle royal or something. I would think.
It is weird that they're having them match up because it feels like it's either like they're the two SmackDown teams in this match or they're part of whatever Cross and Lashley do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. On Raw, we have Ricochet and JD McDonough, the rematch. And we also have, I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing my Chicago hockey hat because Nestlemania on Monday they're in Chicago and one and only CM Punk will be there in Chicago.
Do you think he's going to be in the Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins?
He's definitely doing something with Drew, 100%. What else is he going to do?
I mean,
if he went there and he didn't cross paths with Drew McIntyre and fucking Spotlight Junkie Boy, what are we doing?
I don't know. I'm just saying I laughed so hard when he said WrestleMania is in Philadelphia. You can't have Philadelphia without Phil, whether I'm invited or I'm not. And I'm just like,
I mean, he's going to be
fucking
like the
put him in the
host of
car.
WrestleMania.
Let's fucking go. Whatever.
He's going to be the host of WrestleMania or some bullshit, which I'm cool with.
Put him on commentary. Put him in a fucking, before pregame stuff. He does
pregame show, yeah.
He's good at that shit. He's
the
really
panel.
Good. Yeah. I've soured on certain things about Punk, and it's just it's a non-issue.
You worshipped him for so long, so it makes sense. Whereas me, I love him. I love him now more than ever.
You fly too close to the sun, I guess. Just Icarus. Yeah. So, anything else? You ready to get the fuck out of here?
I think that's it. If I missed anything, no, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching the Jobberknocker podcast. We'll be back next week with some more Jobberknockery
And some pie, hopefully.